Meeting to order of the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, July 23rd, 2020, agenda setting meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Present.
Freeholder Granados,
Here.
Freeholder Hudak,
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Here.
Freeholder Staton,
Here.
Freeholder Williams,
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada, Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 8 freeholders present for tonight's agenda meeting.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Will everyone please stand for the prayer and salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the entire family of nations true agreement with his will and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, while freeholders are putting their video back on, please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances, to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another remote meeting of the Freeholder Board. As is our custom, I'd like to begin with a thanks to the people of Union County who are working hard and looking out for one another, taking care of each other during this COVID-19 outbreak. We try to stay focused on the positives, but tonight I feel compelled to draw attention to the alarming spread of virus in other parts of the country. We cannot be lured into a false sense of complacency, as has happened elsewhere. We cannot listen to those who downplay the life and death situations and consequences. We cannot and will not repeat the catastrophic events of March and April, when the infection rate appeared to be spinning out of control. Well, it did not spin out of control. And that's because we worked hard, we worked together, we took it seriously, and we prevailed. Now is our job to hold on to that progress that we've made. My faith in the Union County community grows stronger every day, and I know we can do it. And so as we slowly and carefully restart county services, please continue to stay the course, stay alert, and take every precaution to protect your family, friends, and neighbors, and the whole Union County family. Observe social distance, wear a mask, and of course, wash your hands frequently. If you're sick, or if you come into contact with someone who is sick, stay away from them and get a COVID test. I'm proud of our family in Union County and all of New Jersey for making remarkable progress against this horrible disease. And I'm confident that we will continue to lead the nation in health and healing. Before we start tonight's business, I have some news and updates. Our free drive-through COVID test center at Kean University is still available by appointment for Union County residents every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The test center has been central to our efforts to control the virus, and we've administered over 30,000 tests so far. You do not need any symptoms to use the testing center, but you do need an appointment. If you think you've been exposed or you have any concerns, please use the online form at ucnj.org or call 908-214-7107. I'd like to thank all the volunteers and the nonprofit agencies who have pitched in to help families in this financial distress due to the economic impacts of the COVID-19 outbreak. Earlier today, Many of us participated in a food drive with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey and Stop and Shop. Outstanding community partners like the Food Bank and Stop and Shop are making all the difference in our efforts to assist our residents that are in need. I'd like to draw attention to the Union County COVID-19 relief program for small businesses. As all the freeholders know and the public knows, we launched phase one of our program on July 16th with a total of $2 million in federal CARES Act relief funds. And we received 762 applications for our small businesses in Union County within 1 week. Due to the overwhelming response, we are adding an additional $2 million to the program with a special emphasis on 4 groups: minority-owned businesses, women's, veterans, LGBTQ, and disabled-owned businesses. As a reminder, if you are a displaced worker or an employer, please visit Union County Works website at ucnj.org for referrals and resources. Turning to other updates, our county clerk, Joanne Rajapi, who I know is on the line, will be resuming her regular evening and Saturday hours beginning in August. Clerk Rajapi also reminds county residents that her office will begin an in-person passport services by appointment only in August. You can check the county clerk's website for more details. As part of our efforts to offer more recreational opportunities and activities, this summer the Parks Department is offering a series of free drive-in movies. You need to be pre-registered for county residents only. We will be inviting all residents and visitors to attend a series of free walk-up outdoor movies, and no registration will be required for that, and more information will be available soon. I cannot emphasize enough to the moviegoers that they must take precautions to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 disease in accordance with our statewide guidelines. Do not let your guard down, even outdoors. For residents seeking nature activities, Union County's Trailside Nature and Science Center has developed a free virtual camp and a different nature theme for each week. They've done a great job of producing the series, which includes original videos, activities for all ages. Anyone can join the camp by visiting Trailside online at ucnj.org/Trailside. Our Office of Heritage and Cultural Affairs has also created a virtual senior art show, and they're accepting applications online through September 4th. Residents age 60 and up are invited to register. And I'd like to thank the outstanding high school graduates from all over Union County who participated in our 3rd annual Quest for Academic Excellence event that we held on June 30th. These promising students have already made an impact in the Union County community, and I'm sure we will hear more from them in the future. I'd like to remind everyone that they can still fill out the 2020 census form, and do that if you haven't. It's so important to fill it out. Funding is tied to that and services, and we want to make sure that everybody fills out their 2020 census. It's quick, it's simple, and it makes a difference. The complete and accurate count for our census is more important now than ever, and we seek our fair share of federal funding for COVID-19 recovery, education, infrastructure, and other critical needs. We've set up a phone bank to encourage participation. So if you get one of these calls, please let our trained staff answer your questions and work through the 2020 census form. Finally, I want to ensure that everyone is clear about the Freeholder Board's position on the George Floyd murder and the Black Lives Matter movement. We are so proud of so many Union County residents who organized peaceful demonstrations in our community. And we're proud of the thousands who joined those events and raised their voices in support of reform. These past few weeks have been a wake-up call for all of us who have worked hard to create an inclusive community. The message is loud and clear. We need to work harder. There's more work to be done. We need to call out racism wherever we see it. We need to reform the structures of our society that enable racism and bigotry in any form, and it allows that to thrive. We have to stop that. For the Freeholder Board, that includes shedding, finally, the old term of freeholder, which fails to embrace the full diversity that we enjoy as a county. So tonight we'll have a motion and a second, and we'll be voting on a resolution to support the state legislation that will replace freeholder with a more inclusive term of commissioner. This change has been a long time coming, and we're proud to support it. One last message before we turn to tonight's agenda. I'd like to thank all the donors who contributed to last month's Union County Home Haircut Challenge. And you can see from the freeholders that are on here, Freeholder Granados, Freeholder Hudak, myself, and Freeholder Estrada, along with you, when the county manager turns his video on, our hair is coming back. It's been an interesting journey for my head, at least. And I really want to thank those freeholders and the county manager and the many people who raised over $10,000 to fund the YWCA in support of funds to help victims of domestic violence. So thank you all for your efforts to do that. We're on our road to finally to get more hair and help a lot of people in the long run. So that's a good thing. And do what you can. Help the charities around Union County. It's been a difficult time for them, but they need all the help and support that anyone in the Union County community can give. Okay. We will have a motion to approve our communications during the regular meeting following this agenda session. And now I'd like to start going through some of the departments and some of the constitutional officers, and we'll start with our county clerk, Moran Rajapi, to present her resolutions.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, freeholders. The county clerk's office just has one resolution this evening. It is amending a contract with Royal Printing Services for the upcoming presidential election, general election.
Okay. Good. Any questions? I'll be looking for the hand raise, and then Freeholder Garrettson's case, I'll look for her to literally raise her hand.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions at this time? I don't see any.
Joanne, thank you.
And
Great.
We'll move on to the office. I don't know if there's okay. We'll move on to the office of our prosecutor, Lindsay Rotolo. Prosecutor Rotolo.
Good afternoon, Chairman. The Office of the Prosecutor has two resolutions on for your consideration. I'm happy to address any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions for our prosecutor? I don't see any questions, but Madam Prosecutor, I do want to thank you. I know Vice Chairman Estrada and I had the opportunity to attend the police graduation earlier this week. And I'm really glad that you found a creative way to have that graduation in person for our new officers, 39 of which I think are scattered throughout Union County and even in a surrounding county. But I know that the Vice Chairman and I were very happy and proud to participate, and happy to see the families celebrate these new officers. And it was really a great day and a great way to celebrate them. I'm really glad that you were able to find an outdoor venue at the police academy to hold this graduation for these new officers. They deserve it, and I'm glad we were able to be in a position to deliver it. So nice work.
Thank you. We were honored to have you join us, and we appreciated the support. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. All right, we'll move on to our sheriff, Sheriff Corvelli.
Good evening, all. The Sheriff's Office has one resolution on the agenda tonight, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, Sheriff Corvelli, thank you. I'm looking to my colleagues on our leaderboard here, and don't see any hands. So, Sheriff, thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
And we'll move right now directly to the Department of Economic Development. Deputy County Manager Wagner, you have the floor.
Good evening, Freeholders. The Department of Economic Development has 12 resolutions for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Deputy County Manager, I see a few hands, and we're going to start with Freeholder Williams.
Thank you, Chairman. Hi, Amy. Could
Hello.
you elaborate on number 1, number 3, and number 11 for me?
Absolutely. Number 1 is for our home improvement program and senior grant program. Development Directions administers that program for us. And this is just exercising our first extension of that contract with them. Number 3 is approving the budget for, number 3 is for the Consolidated Action Plan for the Home Investment Partnership Program. There are some funds that were returned to us for projects that were not in compliance. That included the Center for Hope Hospice and a Community Access Unlimited program. So we have to put them back into our plan, and then we will reallocate those back out.
Okay.
Number 11 is anticipatory. There has been, for the last several years, a grant made available by the federal government that would help us pay for the We Are One program. The grant window is 10 days. We have 10 days to respond. It typically comes out in August. And so we're putting this on here proactively so that should that grant be released, and we have no way of knowing whether it will be or it won't be, we're just getting everything in place in the event that they do actually release it. So we'll be ready to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you, Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Just in reference to number 11 was a question, but I think you already summarized that, Deputy County Manager. I know We Are One's definitely been one of the better We Are Ones across the state of New Jersey, and truly being active and helping out all individuals with different programming. And I just had a question for number 5. I know we attended the graduation last week, and it's definitely a great partnership between the Freeholder Board, Workforce Development Board, and the Union County VOTEC schools. So if you can just elaborate on number 5 and the contract that's being awarded.
Absolutely. This provides for an alternative high school experience for students that have dropped out of school, that had challenges remaining in a traditional high school, and it gives them really an alternative way to get their actual high school diploma and also have work experience at the same time. The school is held inside the Mills of Jersey Gardens. Obviously, that has not happened at the end of the school year, so they've had to get creative as well for how they could deliver those services. But it's been quite successful. They can accommodate up to 30 students, and there's always a waiting list. It's been incredibly well received, and it's really emotional to hear some of those students speak about what a difference this has made in their lives. And while a GED is great, it's also even better for them to really earn their actual diploma. So it's been a very rewarding experience. As you know, Freeholder, we worked hard to bring that program. We got stuck in an airport in Indianapolis while we were out viewing it, but it's been a really terrific program that we're really thrilled to be part of.
Well, thank you, Deputy County Manager, for your work in it and your collaboration with Simon Youth Academy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Granados, for bringing that up. I think that's great to highlight the Simon Youth Academy, and also not necessarily on the agenda tonight, but the Lesniak Recovery High School. Both the roots of both of those academic plans go through our vocational school, and the superintendent and the leadership over there felt it was very important to provide curriculum and work together with the county on the Simon Youth Academy and the Lesniak Recovery School to provide opportunities for people that need a little different path to getting their GED. And I couldn't be more proud of Director Wagner and her work here in this space, and all the freeholders' support, because not every child or student in our high school takes the same path, but they all wind up with an education. And I'm proud that we're offering these. I don't know if they're considered alternative high schools, but certainly different paths. And it's a good thing, and we should do more of it. So I'm proud of that, and a good work done by all. And congratulations to UCVTS for providing the framework around that. Okay. Any other questions for the Deputy County Manager? Okay, I don't see any. Thank you very much.
Thank
We're going to
you.
move to Department of Engineering, Public Works, and Facilities Management, and Director Graziano. And while the director gets online, Mr. Clerk, I'm sure you have seen that Vice Chairman Estrada has joined the meeting, so I want to make sure you have note of that.
Chairman, duly noted. I marked it down in early 5:10, no problem.
Yeah, he's been here. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
we do it. Welcome, Vice
Good evening, Chairman. Good evening, Chairman, Freeholders. I have 15 items on the agenda tonight for your consideration. I'll try and answer any questions you have.
All right, I'll look for hands. I see Freeholder Williams is first.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Director Graziano.
Hi, Freeholder.
Would you please elaborate a little bit about number 3, the 5 points?
Absolutely. We were contacted, I guess a month ago, from the Township of Union, from their administrator and from their deputy administrator, as well as a resident of the Township of Union whose child was struck by a vehicle in one of the crosswalks in the 5 Points intersection. I believe that that her child is okay health-wise, and I don't believe it was that bad of an accident. Again, I can't report exactly what that was, but with that, we were going back and forth with the county manager, with the deputy county manager, and as far as looking into this intersection, and we all agreed that we should do a full redesign of 5 Points. It hasn't been redesigned or re-looked at for many years. So we decided to go out to RFP for a redesign on this intersection. I really think it's a great project all around, not just for Union and Union County, but for everybody. Because everybody goes through 5 Points at one point, whether you're stopping for a hot dog with Al or you're just driving through there. It's a very busy intersection.
Yeah.
Major thoroughfare. So I think this is really going to help everybody out.
Okay, and then Chairman, just one other, number 15.
Sure. Joanne Jamenden with recycling, she's our recycling coordinator. She does a kind of like a recycling 101, and she puts that into the tap. 18 of the 21 townships and or communities of Union County all participate with TAP, and they all get this. Recycling 101 update that she does monthly. This is also the census also is advertising on the tap on the tap into. So it's between the recycling and that we have to do. This is the pay to play. So so we're going to go over our 17.5 allotment. So this is just to allow us to go over that. There isn't any other there's no other really options other than tap into. Kind of like a media source for the whole county. There's no other business that does this work. But it's great. It works out good.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you,
You're
Freeholder
welcome.
Williams. I'm glad you asked that question because that's the question I was going to ask. So very good. Freeholder Hudak has a question.
Thanks, Chairman. Good evening, Joe. How are you?
I'm well, Freeholder. How are you?
Yeah, just to echo Freeholder Williams' interest in number 15. I never miss an opportunity to commend Joanne Giamendum and the recycling team, and so many of the events are well received. The recycling events, the Recycle Coach app is a tremendous program. I know a lot of the towns, I think all of the towns are utilizing it. I appreciate that, especially since my town does 1 day a week garbage collection, and I like to be reminded usually with the notifications because I always forget to put the can outside and they pick up at 6 a.m. So, but in all seriousness, I think that's a valuable service, and I know that the residents are very appreciative of it.
Thank you.
Changing gears.
Sure.
Resolutions 1, 2, and I guess 1, 2, and is 4 part and parcel of the engine of the courthouse renovation, or that's
Well, it's 4 is inclusive of, because that's the elevators. It's not part of that project though.
But it was one of those things that sort of appeared in the midst of that project, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we decided to do all the elevators. I'll start with number 4 if that's okay.
Yeah, please walk me through it.
Yeah, so we decided to do all the others, elevator 4, 5, and 6, which are down there in the rotunda that go all the way up there. So we decided to redo all the elevators one by one. There were some issues with the elevator shafts and stuff like that once we got into it. So we had to increase Mutual's cost to do all that, to redesign some stuff in the shafts. There was some asbestos that was in there that we didn't anticipate. There was some piping in there that had to get moved out of there. There was some elevator inspection stuff that had to get done. So all in all, we're actually moving forward pretty, kind of on schedule with that. We were anticipating 3 months per elevator. We're maybe a week or so behind on that. And a lot of it, and I hate to say it, is because there isn't too many people in the building right now. So we're getting a lot of stuff done, which I can link that right into the other two resolutions that you questioned. Number one is the one for Netta. It's a $283,000 change order. It's 15 more months of construction administration. That's basically all this whole change is. Through the course of this project, he's had 7 other change orders. We can go through them at another time if you'd like, but they've all ranged from $2 million, which was the whole redesign of the whole thing once we had to move it inside. If everybody remembers, the original contract was to put the stairwell on the outside of the building. We decided, my guess after that wouldn't work, to move it inside the building. We've had a lot of changes and time extensions because of that. We've also had the opportunity to change some other stuff in the building, to do some stuff up in the tower that wasn't part of this contract originally. So we've added some, during the course of the project, we were able to move some of the construction administration time around to other projects that came up during this. So we didn't have to do a time addition at that point. I tried to push everything to the end. He's had 7 other change orders. This is the 8th. This will get us to the completion of the job, which right now is on schedule for June of 2021. And we're about 25 to 28% complete with the stair tower. I don't know if you've been in that building lately, but from 1 to 4, the new hole is in the thing, and the stair is actually set already in there. They're starting to close it all in. It's starting to really look like something right now. So that one and Mast kind of like coincide. Mast was our CM on the project. So with all the changes, there was some stuff with the sheriffs. We had to build some other tunnels. There was some big time unanticipated issues with the structural steel on the first floor of the tower, which is also a big part of Netta's change that we did not know before he started to redesign start to design the stair tower again. So there are some changes that really had to be made on that. So that added a bunch of time and some minor costs of structural engineering for Netta Architects. I am pretty confident, and like I said before, we vetted this out along with the county manager. We've walked this project multiple times with the contractor, with the architect, with the CM, and we're all kind of confident that this now, we should be at the point where this project should conclude in June of 2021, and then we'll have some closeout period of a couple months after that. But this will take us to the end of the project. I'm pretty confident with it.
Joe, just in regard to so Mast is our CM on the project.
Yes,
Net is the architectural engineering services. So is there an anticipation of additional changes that are going to eat into this allowance for $283,000, or is this in recognition for work that's basically in the pipeline that's going to be done to bring the project to completion?
So this, I'm through you, Chairman. This is to get him out to the end of the project. All the plans are done, all the specs are done, everything is complete. There's no more investigations that we should see. There shouldn't be any more unanticipated issues because the building has been opened up. All the steel has been designed. Some of it is being erected already. All the steel is completely built from wherever it's being built off site through that vendor. So there really shouldn't be any changes. We've done a lot of changes to this project. because don't forget, part of this project was the rotunda as well. So we did all those courtrooms in the rotunda. We didn't anticipate doing any of the asbestos work in there and the lead paint work that we had to do in there. We painted all the courtrooms. We put sound systems in all the courtrooms in the rotunda. So once this project is completed, it's going to be, I mean, it is a beautiful courthouse right now. This is really just going to improve everything.
No, and like I said, I'm just trying to understand what, this is anticipation of work that might be or work that we know that's going to be, so
No,
this
this should get us out to the end. I mean, again, this whole time that we're going through now, which is a rough time with everybody, but since there's nobody in the building, we're actually pushing a lot quicker to get things done. So we're able to do stuff during the day that we anticipated doing at night. We're able to do stuff now which there's not that many people in the way. Not that happens, but that does work. So we do have to move, there's 2 more phases which are going to be coming up too. Don't forget, we have to move the state employees to the other parts of the complex as well. So this is all part of that. Once some sections open, we can move employees in and then go back to the other sections.
No, I appreciate that. And I think it's I commend you as a director for taking the opportunity here to try to get as many of these projects done as possible. I'm just more or less, obviously this is change order number 8.
Yes.
So we've had a number of change orders, and obviously, there's always that dream amongst the other board members. I'm sure they share it, that one day we'll be able to figure out as much of a project ahead of time as possible so that we don't go through the change order process. So I'm sure that everything's valid. I'm not quite sure I'm getting, I may want to just, I sort of get the gist of what you're saying here.
Sure.
Just my concern is anything else coming on the back end to complete the project. So I don't know if this is a 283 add-on or, the potential of additional expenses.
So like I said, most of this is for his construction administration, for his part of the project. So those are monthly fees. So he has this pushed out. So $218,000 of this 280. I'm sorry. 218,500 of this whole change order is just for his extension, his construction administration fees to get him to the end of the project. The other stuff was some structural engineer stuff, some MEP stuff, some minor environmental issues when they had to open up the floor downstairs. So the 218.5 of this gets him to June 2021.
Right. And what was the anticipated completion again? Is it
June 2021? So just a little bit less than a year from now.
Do you feel with the low density in the buildings that we might have a chance to come way ahead of that? Or
I do. No, ahead of it, no, I don't think it's going to be ahead of that. I'll be honest with you. I'm really pushing for June. I think it should go well. I mean, we have a good team on board. So I really, that has been on board, and we're really getting a lot done now during this time. So I'm confident in June.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder.
And just so the public's aware, and the freeholders I'm sure are aware, is this was really a project that was mandated by the state of New Jersey, and to provide safety for the people visiting the courthouse, the upper levels. It created the need for the additional courthouse that we built down the street on Cherry Street, and taking some of the courtrooms out of the inside caused us to build the other. So this has been a pretty expensive project overall.
Overall, it has, yes.
And we looked for every way to do it, as the director said, on the outside of the building, and logistically, it couldn't be done. I mean, there was some people that tried real hard, because that might have helped us save some dollars along the way, but it couldn't be done. So we had to take that internal stairway and then build the other to replace the courtrooms that we were losing. So that's what it was.
And just one other point. Don't forget, I mean, the state's been very good with us. They've given us fire code violations on this project for the last 10 or 15 years on that tower. So they've been good with us. They haven't fined us. We've been working very well with the state on this project. So through you, Mr. Chair, I mean, it's just, it's at that point where you can almost see the light.
No, it's been good teamwork with the state and good partnership. I see the vice chairman has his hand up.
Good afternoon, Joe.
Hi, Freeholder. Vice Chair.
One of my questions is associated to the lead remediation that had to be done. Are we all done through with any of the lead that was there from previous times, or is there anything else still pending?
So, I mean, I guess that's a very open question. So we had the lead tested, we had asbestos tested. Any of the lead that was, I guess kind of like either spalling or anything else like that, we had all that taken care of. The whole building has lead paint in it. It is what it is. The whole building has a lot of asbestos in it. That's not viable. It's still safe. There's nothing wrong with it. Any of the stuff that was dangerous that we had to do through all the whole rotunda and all the court rooms, yes, has been done.
Right. The monies that are being allocated here has nothing to do with the construction or the asbestos remediation. It had only to do with the construction management and the design side, correct?
The construction, the construction administration for NETA and the construction management time for MAST.
The mass. That's all that we're talking about here for a completion date of June 2021, right?
Yes, sir.
And my question basically is there any other players that may be involved in this project that we could possibly get some additional bills for? I understand that you
No, I understand. I totally understand what you're saying. So right now you have MAST, who's our CM, you have NETA, who's our CA, who under NETA Architects was the MEP, which is the mechanical engineer, also the structural engineer. All that was under him. There shouldn't be any other professionals, I don't believe, coming to the table. If there is, I can look into it a little further and I can get back to you by the end of the week on that. That's for sure. But I don't believe there is. I mean, I've vetted these change orders out with our engineers, with construction, Troy Marziotti, with architects. We've really went through this. This has been, we are on top of all these changes, Vice Chair. So we do not believe that there should be anything else coming from any other professionals, because I don't really think there's any other professionals that are working for us on this project besides these two.
Thank you, Joe, very much.
All right, Vice Chair. Thank you.
Vice Chairman, thanks. Anybody else? All right, Director, thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
We will move on to the Department of Finance and Director Taylor.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Finance has 11 resolutions for your consideration this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, for the Finance Director, I see most of these are receiving and accepting grants. Is that right, Director?
That's correct. All 11 resolutions are Chapter 159s modifying the 2020 budget.
To accept grants that come in, right?
That's correct.
All right, that's all good news. The more grants, the better. So that's wonderful. Any questions for Director Taylor? I don't see any. Director, thank you. We're going to move on to the Department of Human Services, Director Anderson.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. The Department of Human Services has 13 resolutions on, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, Director, thank you. Any questions for Director Anderson? I see Freeholder Mudead.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Director. I just was curious, number 3, the hotel in Totowa, how did that come about, and how will residents from Union County be able to be housed there during a code blue?
So NJ 211 is the feeler of all of the shelter programs for the state right now. So if someone calls 211 during the code blue time and it's after hours, they will transport the homeless to Totowa. This hotel was provided by the Department of Family Development. It's a state recommendation because we are at capacity throughout the county in shelter beds, and this hotel in Totowa is going to serve as more so of it's a hotel motel, yes, but it's more shelter beds where as you know, there's a limit of shelter beds in Union County.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to hear that, because I know that we've had an issue, and I'm sure as we move forward, unfortunately, during the circumstances of our times, that we will probably need many more beds. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Freeholder Medad, thank you. Freeholder Williams.
Actually, I meant to not raise my hand because Freeholder Medad actually asked the question that I had, but since I'm here, Director Anderson, you said that we're at capacity. What are you projecting us going beyond capacity and having to find even more shelter beds or more hotels in the upcoming months?
Yes. We're at capacity there because due to COVID, there's just unforeseen numbers of the homeless population throughout the Union County. The challenge is homeless families, more so than individuals. And where do you place a family of 5 or 10? It's more in the hotel room. So right now, the shelters that we work with, like Gateway Wide, they do not have the capacity. And because it is the COVID pandemic, there's a lot of motels in Union County that has refused, I would say, to house the homeless. So we had to be really creative working with the state to find other motels to service the population. But yes, we're at capacity right now. We have last time I counted, we have we're over 500 families, 550 families alone that are homeless, and the individuals is more as well. So we're having some challenges for placement.
You're saying 550 families?
Families.
Wow. Okay.
That's over 2,000 people.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. Director, can you just elaborate on number 11, please?
Sure. So Four Cs does the program for scholarships for individuals that are just above the cuff of getting subsidies. So we provide scholarship dollars for the low income family that needs to go back to work and need to get access to childcare. And this program, that's what they're going to be doing. So we have increased that amount because people, as you know, are going back to work and they need childcare. And this program, it will be able to provide scholarship dollars for individuals who qualify.
Definitely a beneficial program to many residents, especially now more than ever during COVID. So I thank you for your leadership. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you.
Good question. All right, I don't see anybody else with their hand up. So Director Anderson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the Department of Parks and Recreation and Director Zuber. Director, you have to take yourself off mute. I'm sure it was very eloquent.
Hear me now? Department of Parks and Recreation has 4 items on tonight's agenda. I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
All right, I see Freeholder Hudak has a question.
Thanks, Chairman. A comment and just a request for an explanation. First, the comment, number 4, I see that we are appropriating $94,500 to fund a study at Clark Reservoir. I know that's part of the chairman's initiative. I just wanted to say that I'm very happy to see that expenditure, and I look forward to seeing a good plan to take advantage of that underutilized watershed right in our county. That could be something really special. So I'm glad to see that is on the agenda for tonight, and I look forward to getting the feedback from the engineer on that. And then I guess in regard to a question on number 1, can you just walk me through the contract details and what exactly this will mean as part of our agreement with the Department of Transportation, sorry.
First off, Freeholder, we're asking permission to go forward and apply for this grant. This is the 5th year in a row that we're applying. If we don't get the grant, it's because we weren't trying too hard. But this basically is connecting a key part of the Frederick Law Olmsted bikeway It is up on New Providence Road, the Deer Path intersection, and it goes up to the Loop and the Trailside Nature and Science Center. It's designed to take the bikers off the road, and the grant money would be used to provide a nice riding service. This has nothing to do with mountain biking. This is all road biking. And it's at, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that's good. I don't think anyone's got the appetite for that particular discussion at the moment. However, just with I see the chairman laughing. However, with COVID-19, I think, as a parent of 2 young kids, this was an excellent opportunity to finally get them on the bikes. And I know I'm not alone in that. So just anything we can do to create new opportunities for safe biking in Union County, not mountain biking, we're not going there, but to keep kids and families who are taking advantage of other parks in a safe manner is a good thing. So hopefully, we'll see a better result this time. And then any other, maybe this might be an opportunity to leverage some of our legislative delegation to see if maybe there's an opportunity to finally, 5th time's the charm to get that funding.
Mhm.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Chairman.
Sure.
Thank you, Freeholder Hudak. Anyone else wishing to speak or ask questions for the director? Okay. All right. I don't see anybody. Thank you, Director.
Thank you.
We'll move to the Department of Public Safety and Director Moran.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. Department of Public Safety has 4 resolutions on for your consideration. I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Freeholder Hudak.
Just a quick one on number 4. What is the software that Attachmate Corporation provides, and what are the upgrades to that software? Thank you.
This software specifically is for dispatch. It connects our dispatchers to the state and federal criminal information systems, allows us to look people up for warrants, criminal histories, and is also used by our Detective Bureau for criminal investigative matters. That's basically what the software is. And it will just speed the processing of that. It's a little easier interface than what's provided by the state and feds.
Thank you.
Okay. Freeholder Hudak, thank you. Any other questions for Director Moran? I don't see any hands. Okay. All right. We'll move on to the Office of the County Council. County Council Bergen.
Good evening, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and Freeholders. County Council has 5 resolutions this evening, and oops, I have to start my own video, huh? Okay. Sorry. We have 5 resolutions. I'll be happy to answer any questions about them.
Okay. Any questions, freeholders, for our County Council? Okay. I don't see any. Bruce, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I see this is there's a number of freeholder sponsored resolutions. I believe the clerk asked everyone for their thoughts on joining earlier today, but is there anything that anyone would like to add or comment on at this point? I'll be happy to entertain that and talk about it. Of our
I would like to join, Chairman.
Yeah, Freeholder Garrettson, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to join number 3, number 4, number 5, and that's it.
Okay. Let's see if we can make number 3 from the whole board, just for looks like everyone's nodding. That makes sense. Most freeholders are there. And that's fine. Otherwise, Freeholder Garrettson, that's great. Mr. Clerk, please make those notations.
Duly noted, Chairman.
Number 4, possibly also, Chairman.
4. Okay, let's make 4 from the entire board too. Okay, I see your hands.
I would say the same thing for number 5.
5.
Okay.
And what about 10 and 11?
Number 10.
10 and 11?
Yep. All right.
Yes,
Yeah, that's perfect.
that's already from the number 10.
You know,
Oh, pardon. I apologize. 11. I didn't look down far enough. 10, proper. Thank you.
I've been thinking about this for a little while because we, our own resolutions, we all support them. We all vote on them. Maybe all of them should come from the board, but we'll work on how we do that. Maybe if it's a Freeholder Granados or Freeholder Williams and the entire board, because we're all going to be supporting all of them. But we'll work on the logistics of that. In the meantime, Mr. Clerk, hopefully you got those changes and you
I
can
did.
make them moving forward, and that will be great. All right.
Freeholder, I don't know if Andrea may have something.
I'm sorry. Freeholder Staten.
Thank you. I'd just like to be added to number 9, please.
Okay. Jimmy, please make that notation. And Freeholder Williams.
Got it.
Do you have anything?
No. Just the ones I mentioned, 3, 4, 5, and 10.
All right, got it. All right. So I think we're at the end of our agenda meeting. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Freeholder Williams. Can I have a second? Freeholder
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll for adjournment.
Chairman, may I ask who seconded that?
Freeholder Garrettson seconded.
Thank you, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yeah.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staten,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative to adjourn the agenda meeting.
Okay, we are adjourned our first meeting. Do we need any time in between? Would anybody need a break or want to run right into it?
I hope we can start.
Chairman, I can move.
Good idea. We'll be efficient. We'll move forward. So Robert, I don't know if you need to do anything differently to get things going, to separate.
I'm all set on your end.
You're ready to go?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll call this meeting to order. The Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders, Thursday, July 23rd, 2020, regular meeting. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Here.
Freeholder Hudak,
Here.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Here.
Freeholder Staten,
Here.
Freeholder Williams,
Here.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Present.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Present.
Chairman, you have 9 freeholders present for the regular meeting.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please lead us into prayer and salute to the flag.
Humbly, we ask God, the giver of peace and the lover of charity, to give the family of nations true agreement with his will, and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. While people are joining their video, I appreciate it. Robert, you did very good at the flag and the prayer, so nice job on your end. And I will ask the clerk to read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
Certainly, Chairman. The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of New Jersey statutes annotated Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mailing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020, along with periodic changes necessitated by certain to the newspapers circulating within the County of Union who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2020 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that, Mr. Clerk. May I move on to have a motion to approve the communications?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Mudet. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudet,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative.
Very good, thank you. Tonight we have 2 ordinances for final reading. Clerk of the Board, please read the first ordinance by title.
Ordinance number 815-2020, an ordinance to amend the Union County Solid Waste Management Plan by including a Class C recycling facility owned and operated by Linden Renewable Energy, LLC, located at 4900 Trumley Point, Lot 8.02, Block 587, Linden, New Jersey, to accept organic waste or organic substrate and utilize anaerobic digestion to create renewable natural gas, a marketable soil amendment, and liquid digestate that will be processed on site to produce liquid organic fertilizer.
All right, Mr. Clerk, thank you. Prior to opening the meeting to the public hearing on this ordinance, I'd like to make a note that there was another public hearing earlier today, 1 o'clock, via Zoom. Upon a conclusion of that hearing, the clerk of the board forwarded the recording of that public hearing to each of us on the board. I'd like to call upon the Utilities Authority Executive Director, Dan Sullivan, to provide some overview of the project. Dan?
Yeah, good evening, Chairman and freeholders. I just want to check to make sure UCUA Council Craig Dowd is on the call as well.
Yes.
He is, and we have 2 representatives from Linden Renewable Energy, Mr. Jim Potter and Mr. Dennis Toft. Are they on the call as well?
They are.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. What, Chairman, what you're being asked to consider tonight is an amendment to the Union County Solid Waste Management Plan, the inclusion of Linden Renewable Energy as a Class C recycling facility. A Class C recycling facility relates to food waste, plant and grass and that type of thing. Think of the C as compost, and that's the type of facility that it is. The UCUA had at its June meeting approved the application for Linden Renewable Energy. There was also a solid waste advisory board committee as per the requirements of that was conducted, and those minutes were forwarded to the board. And this is the first time, as you mentioned earlier, Chairman, but it deserves noting that last year DEP had put out new regulations in terms of public hearings in an attempt to get more public participation. They ask all authorities like ourselves to expand the opportunities for public comment. So today was actually the first time, anytime we've had to do a solid waste plan amendment, that we held a hearing this afternoon at 1 o'clock that was chaired by Freeholder Hudak. That went well, and that information, as you said, was forwarded to there. So I will now ask the representatives of Linden Renewable Energy, Mr. Potter and Mr. Toft, to give a brief overview of the facility, where it's going, how much it's going to cost, and how it's going to operate. Gentlemen, if you would.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman, Vice Chairman, and freeholders. My name is James Potter, and I'm president of RNG Energy Solutions, the project company that we've formed to own this project that we're proposing is called Linden Renewable Energy. As earlier mentioned, it's located at 4900 Tremley Point Road. This is a great site for our project. We've leased a section of the project site, 23 acres out of a total of 31. We're proposing a project that will receive recyclable food material, and it will be material that's processed off-site into what we would characterize as a slurry or fuel. That's delivered in 6,000-gallon tanker trucks to the site and pumped into anaerobic digesters or bioreactors. These bioreactors are seeded with bacteria, and the tanks or contents are heated to create a perfect environment to create renewable natural gas. The project produces this gas, and then it's refined in a biogas upgrading system. And that refined gas or upgraded gas is then delivered to the Texas Eastern Transmission Company pipeline, which is about 4,000 feet up Tremley Point Road from our site, and injected into that pipeline. The gas, the renewable natural gas, is going to be used to make renewable hydrogen. And this facility will be one of the largest, if not the largest, renewable facility in the state, and result in likely the highest level of greenhouse gas reductions or carbon reductions of any facility in the state. It will produce the equivalent from an energy content. It will produce an equivalent of 24,000 gallons of gasoline a day. And so this is the wave of the future. I noted earlier there was reference to Recycling 101. Recycling 101 in the future will include the diversion of organic waste from every facility, every home, every food processing operation, and that will come to us. The great thing about this is it avoids going to a landfill where it would produce methane, and methane is not good for the atmosphere or for managing global warming. So this is a major facility and a state-of-the-art facility. The city of Linden has been a fantastic partner to date. And we are in the process of securing all our permits and approvals through the city and through the DEP. We expect to complete that process here in the next 3 to 4 months, and expect to go to financing by the end of this year or early next year. It is a $220 million plant. We've developed and built and financed several of these already. And we've been in the business of developing and financing energy infrastructure projects. I've been doing this for over 30 years. Of note, we have on-site generation. That on-site generation to provide all of our power requirements are fuel cells. And these fuel cells are emission-free power sources. And that's in keeping with our goal of creating a environmentally advanced and friendly resource in Linden, New Jersey, and in Union County. We actually just completed a $30 million fuel cell project over on Long Island. So our program here is to receive diverted recyclable waste material, a food waste material, and turn it into a renewable natural gas. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, let me first say thank you to Freeholder Hudak for his efforts this afternoon gathering that public comment. Clerk of the board, Jimmy, can you read into the record any questions from that hearing earlier today?
Certainly, Chairman. There was no individual member from the public that joined our public hearing earlier today at 1 o'clock via Zoom. However, I did receive 2 emails that I did read into the record. And if you would, I'll read them verbatim as they came in through, through email to my attention. The first email came in from Ciro Scalera, Scalera of Berkeley Heights. And his email as follows. Dear Mr. Pelletieri, at the last meeting I spoke in support of this project. I do not need to ask to speak again but I would like to indicate our continued support for this project. I appreciate if my support, no need to testify, could be noted at the meeting for the record. I thank you for your assistance, Sierra. The second email I received today that was entered into the record was from Mr. Bruce Patterson. Mr. Bruce Patterson, I do note that is part of tonight's meeting, but I will read his email that was read into the record earlier today. And it goes as such. My comments and questions on Ordinance 815-2020. Some of you may remember this is the same property that was going to have a New York City trash transfer station built back at the turn of the century. There was a lot of questionable and possible shady dealings involved, and so it was forced to be shelved. Senator Lesniak's law partner Wiener and Linden Mayor Gregorio's son-in-law were involved in that fiasco. A few questions on this for clarification for the public. Where was our organic waste being sent previously? This plant is being built on what looks like contaminated soil from an FFG and storage plant demolished around the turn of the century. Who is doing the hazmat study and remediation? Who is paying for the construction of this facility, and how much is it going to cost? Is there taxpayer funding involved? What is the schedule for completion and startup? Who are the principals of Linden Renewable Energy LLC? City also be involved in shipping their waste to this site. Finally, it is good the defunct property is being repurposed to service the public's good. Thank you, Bruce Patterson.
Okay, so why don't we handle some of those questions, Dan? I'll turn it over to you, and then probably on to the guys from Linden Renewable Energy. But do you have any general comments you want to make to that last statement?
Got to unmute. I'm sorry, Chairman. Mr. Potter answered these questions from this particular email, so I would just defer to him. Again, Jim, if you just want to go over kind of what we did this afternoon in terms of answering those questions raised in this email.
Okay. Dennis, do you want to run with those?
Sure, Jim. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Dennis Topp from the Chiesa Sheehan and John Tomasio Law Firm representing Linden Renewable Energy. Appreciate this hearing this evening. I'll go right to the questions without commenting on some of the historical statements by Mr. Patterson. We can tell you that contaminated soil on the property is being remediated currently by the property owner. We expect that remediation to be substantially done before we start construction on the project. Payment or the funding for the project will be through private activity bonds issued through the EDA. There will be no taxpayer money involved in the project. There will be benefits to the taxpayers from the revenues generated from the project. The organic waste now in Union County will be being disposed of according to the county plan, and that will continue to be the case. We expect a lot of the waste material, it will be processed off-site. All the locations and the things coming to the site will be the tanker trucks full of the substrate, as Mr. Potter indicated. I believe Mr. Potter talked about the cost, the investment in the project of over $200 million. And Mr. Potter described his company that's the owner of the Linden Renewable Energy Project.
Okay. All right, very good. I don't know, freeholders, I see Vice Chairman's hand is up. I don't know if we want to open up to the public or you want to ask some questions at this point. I'll leave it up to you, Vice Chairman, if you want to ask your questions, and then we could open the meeting to the public.
It's all right. You can go to the public and I'll come back to me. Sorry.
All right, very good. Thank you, Vice Chairman. The meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on Ordinance 815-2020 being offered for adoption. Let's move on. Jimmy, if you want to call on the public who registered to speak, perhaps Mr. Patterson, his comments were already made, but he may have additional comments. I certainly want to open it up and see if he has anything additional to ask, and then we'll go through the queue if there's anybody else in line.
Certainly, Chairman, I do want to point out that I did receive one email from a Judy England McCarthy. However, I do see that she is in the queue. So I'll refrain from adding, unless you want me to read into the record her email, or do you want me to open it up to Miss Judy McCarthy?
Well, you can read her comments, and then if she has anything to add, I will open it up for her to add anything.
Certainly, Chairman. As I said, I received an email from Judy McCarthy. The email goes as such. Judy McCarthy, Linden, New Jersey, 036. There were 3 questions. 1, what measures regarding potential runoff are going to be in place to ensure that the nearby waterway isn't going to be contaminated? 2, to what extent is Linden Renewable Energy bonded in case contamination of product or waterway occurs, and what is their record on violations? And 3, what protocols are going to be put in place to ensure that the third-party off-site facilities are ensuring no contamination? Chairman, that was the email I received earlier today.
Okay, so let's see if Mr. Potter or Mr. Toff can answer those questions, and we'll open it up for any live questions if they are there.
Jim, let me take a shot at it, and then you can add to it if that's okay. With respect to the protection of the nearby waterways, the facility is required to get permits from the Department of Environmental Protection, both a recycling permit and permits from the Division of Land Use Regulation, including waterfront development permits. Those will require us to maintain runoff controls, both for stormwater and to contain the material in the tanks. There is no requirement that we post a bond or other financial surety to protect that, but we will have to put up appropriate controls. In terms of the protocols, or in terms of the track record, the other facilities that have been operating, I'll let Mr. Potter comment on, but to our knowledge, there have been no violations at the other similar facilities in other states. With respect to the protocols for all third-party off-site facilities, all of those facilities will have their own permits for processing material, and the Linden Renewable Energy Facility has acceptance criteria for the substrate that's being brought to it that those facilities will need to meet.
Okay, Mr. Potter, do you have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, I'll go to the violations. We've got an exceptional track record of meeting the requirements of the permits that are secured for the individual projects that we've done over the years. We've also got an exceptional track record in terms of incorporating advanced, in most cases, first of their kind applications for emissions controls and systems controls and water treatment systems. And we're very proud of our track record in that regard. And this is a state-of-the-art facility that's going to be recognized as such there in the city of Linden.
Okay, very good. Mr. Clerk, now let's open it up to the public for any live questions that they may have in addition to what was sent previously, and I'll let you guide us from there.
Thank you, Chairman. We do have 2 individuals from the public that are participating in tonight's Zoom meeting. I would first start off with the first person in the queue, Judy England McCarthy, please.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we sure can.
Okay, I live down in the Tremley Point area, and I've lived over 20 years in this area, and there have been a lot of projects that have been touted as being great. I'm glad to hear that this company's history of violations is non-existent, but I am very concerned, even though they are not taking money from Linden and that we're going to have an increased tax base, that, or I believe we are, I would be interested to know what kind of funds we're looking at increasing the city's coffers by. But I would also like to say that it really concerns me that a plant of this size, that there is no bonding required, because if something goes wrong, and we've all seen things go wrong, there is no recourse. This company can go belly up and we're stuck holding the bill. The other thing is, because I am in the Tremley Point area, anyone who knows the area, there is one road going down that goes to this area, and the trucks go directly past a school, a public school, and you're saying there are 6,000-pound trucks. I'd like to know, has there been a traffic flow done on how many trucks will be increasing this area? From what I understand, in the area already, there is warehousing, which has increased the traffic flow. I mean, you can only bring so many trucks to an area without, and there is a higher propensity for us of asthma, and trucks cause that kind of pollution that can contribute to asthma. I hear that you have had a 30 cell, I said something on Long Island. How long has that been in place? And have you had anything that any of these businesses doing this type of thing for over a 5-year period, so you have a track record? That's basically the questions.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. I'll turn it over to our guests for any comment on those questions.
Yeah, I'm going to take the last one first. The last one relates to a fuel cell. And a fuel cell project is a project that is the absolute most state-of-the-art power generation facility you could produce right now or construct. It's a facility that uses natural gas, but it electrochemically produces power. It doesn't combust the gas. And so it is emissions-free technology. And it is highly advanced, and we built a $30 million plant. So it's a power plant, it's not a digester project, but it's an indication of the type of facilities we do. I'm going to admit that you got to remind me what some of the, bonding. So Dennis, I'm going to say, and you got to tell me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure we have to file with the state a bond that creates an obligation or creates a commitment to manage demolition if we should just up and walk away.
Well, there are a couple of things. One is we'll be subject to state permits. The second thing is we are subject to City of Linden approvals. The third thing is that behind the project, there will be investors who, if the company, the operating company has an issues, the investors step in and take care of the project from there to get a return on their investment. So that's where the protection comes in, because it's not just the shell company. It's a shell company that where people have put up over $200 million to make sure that it succeeds. In terms of truck traffic, there are actually two routes. Southwood Avenue and Style Street can also be used to bring truck to the facility. The traffic study that's being done as part of our discussions with the City of Linden over a redevelopment agreement. There will be a financial agreement between the facility and the City of Linden, which is still in discussions, but that will put into Linden's coffers. Jim, I don't remember the number off the top of my head, perhaps you do. But
it's a very large number that we're committing through a pilot agreement with the, what we would call a pilot agreement with the city.
And in terms of the number of trucks per day coming to the facility, Jim, do you have a number for the number of trucks?
Yeah, it was an average of 5 to 7 an hour. And
so that's about the extent of traffic that could be on Southwood Avenue or on Style Street. At some point, we may also be able to bring material to the facility by barges, since it is on the Kill.
That's right.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you for that, Jim. Let's move on to the next caller.
The second and final caller participating in tonight's meeting is a Mr. Bruce Patterson.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, the freeholders, also Mr. Austin, Mr. Potter, Mr. Sullivan. Yeah, I appreciate you answering most of my questions. I actually do have additional questions, and one question you actually missed. I was just wondering, when is the completion and the startup of this project? And that sounds great that Linden's actually going to get a VIG, and you're in agreement, financial agreement with them. Not yet, of course. But additional questions I have. You were talking about an off-site processing plant, and I was just wondering, where is that plant? And to me, I thought this was serving just Union County, but it actually does sound like it's serving like a larger metropolitan area. If you could just describe the area of service.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I would assume there's some kind of byproduct or sludge that's going to be coming from that plant. I'm just wondering how you're handling that. And just last question is, how many employees are going to be there working? So that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for those. Thank you for those questions. Let me first go to the question of schedule. We expect to go to financing hopefully by the end of the year, but it's likely going to migrate into the first quarter of next year. And it's a 16-month construction schedule and a 3-month startup. And so this would be into the third or fourth quarter of 2022 before we actually start the plant. In terms of what you referred to, Mr. Patterson, as sludge, actually what happens is we use these bioreactors and we create this perfect environment in the bioreactors to break down the material and produce gas. It's roughly a 20 to 22 day or longer, sometimes, hydraulic retention time. So it's in this environment to break down and produce natural gas. We then separate out the solids with a centrifuge, and those solids come off, and those solids are really valuable material. It's actually a soil amendment and can sometimes be characterized as a replacement peat moss. And we'll be able to sell this material at a very high price because it's got both nutrients in it and soil characteristics or characteristics similar to peat moss, which is a valuable material in its own right. And so everything that comes in as a waste, everything that leaves is a beneficiated product. The liquid fraction is cleaned up through a complex membrane bioreactor system, and the liquid fraction then goes from there to the Linden Roselle Sewerage Authority, which is about 4,000 feet north on Tremley Point Road. What were some other questions that I'm missing? Dennis, help me out.
Number of employees at the site?
Number of employees. Well, first of all, during construction, we estimate that we'll have 400,000 union construction jobs to build this plant. During startup and commissioning and operation, we'll have 21 full-time employees. These are high-paying jobs because this is a complex facility, but we'll have 21 full-time employees and another 30 to 40 ancillary employees associated with processing waste streams offsite.
And the last one, Jim, is the offsite locations. Where will the suppliers be?
Right. So in the new paradigm, in recycling 101, in the new paradigm, diverted organic waste will be collected, as it is now in certain parts of the state within certain communities, and it'll be processed through a system that creates a digester viable slurry. And this will be done at existing transfer stations. There's a number of these systems already in place in New York State, and there'll be a number of them developed in all throughout New Jersey and other surrounding states. This is how waste is going to be processed in order to reduce carbon emissions, because the product off of those systems, this anaerobic digester viable slurry, will be processed through a digester, produce renewable natural gas, which will be used to offset carbon emissions elsewhere. And so the new paradigm, the recycling 101, will have offsite processing of organic waste, and then it will all be delivered via these tanker trucks to our project. Was there another question that I missed?
That's all I had on my list.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, was that, did that cover it all?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Potter.
You're welcome.
All right, very good. So Jimmy, that's all the public that had questions now. Let me close that portion of the meeting and I'll turn it over to freeholder questions. I know the vice chairman has a question. So Vice Chairman, it's your turn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just, Jim, one clarification. You said it was 40 to 1,000 employee or 100,000, right?
No, it was 400,000 man hours.
Oh, man hours. Okay.
Yeah, labor man hours. I may have said it wrong.
All right, that's fine. No, the number sounded very large, so I said let's clarify that. So there's no.
It is a big number. This is a $200 million plant. A lot of piping, a lot of tanks, electrical control systems, and whatnot. It's an advanced system. We have to build a pipeline to 4,000-foot pipeline, both of water and renewable natural gas. So a lot of labor, a lot of craft labor to build this plant, and then 21 full-time jobs to operate it.
You indicated that the byproduct will be fed through a pipeline, existing pipeline, that will go somewhere else in the country. How far is this pipeline presently? Or are we building any new pipelines that we're not aware of?
Yeah, we have to build a 4,000-foot pipeline from our plant. It's closer to, it's like 4,800 feet from our plant up to the Tetco Pipeline. The Tetco Pipeline is an existing interstate pipeline that delivers gas into New Jersey and New York State, New York City as well. Once we put our gas into that pipeline, then we can deem it delivered anywhere in the country. And it's actually been sold. Our renewable natural gas is a very valuable and sought after product because its carbon reduction benefits are so big. And it's going to be used to produce renewable hydrogen. And then that hydrogen will be used to produce a renewable gasoline and diesel. And so it will have this renewable content, this RC renewable content in those products.
Is there any plans to utilize other byproducts other than food? You indicated that what you process, it's part of a food items that are decaying, but what other possibility is there?
Well, it's mostly, so there's a long list of stuff actually. If you go to a Whole Foods, every vegetable in the produce section of a Whole Foods looks perfect. And it's because every night someone went around and took the stuff that wasn't perfect, not consumer viable, and put it in a tote or a bin. That's the kind of stuff that will come to us.
So that's the only things that you're going to be processing?
No, there's also restaurant waste.
Okay.
And so the state of New Jersey recently passed legislation requiring the diversion of organic waste,
Correct.
Which is a really good thing because it's an easy way, relatively speaking, it's an easy way of reducing carbon emissions by diverting it away from landfills. And so because of the proximity to New York City, there's a lot of food processing that goes on. Even in Union County, there's a lot of food processing that goes on. All over different counties in New Jersey, a lot of food processing goes on. Good example, food is processed into ready-to-eat meals and delivered all over New York City and northern New Jersey. The waste from that will come to us as opposed to going to a landfill. Brewery waste. We had a facility that received over 30,000 gallons a day of the bottoms of a brewery. In our day, we used to drink that. They don't anymore. So there's a lot of different food processing operations that produce a byproduct that can be diverted to our facility to produce renewable natural gas.
But it won't be things like sludge or regular garbage.
No, no, it's all diverted organic waste.
I guess the key. So let me ask you, in terms of volatility, in terms of that particular plant, are there any potential dangers that can be that can take place because of the fact how it operates?
Well,
I mean, it is flammable material that comes out, or
yeah. No, we have to take extensive and appropriate safety measures in operating the facility. We do produce a renewable natural gas, but natural gas is used in your home, a lot of homes, and schools, and you name it. It's used extensively throughout the state. In this case, it's renewable, but it is the same chemistry. It's CH4. So it has the same properties as natural gas, and we will have to implement extensive safety procedures in processing it, compressing it, and putting it into a pipeline.
That's great. That's my questions. Thank you, Jim, Dennis. I saw Director Sullivan there, as well as Mr. Dow. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Vice Chairman. I have just a couple of questions, and I think I heard significant number of union jobs to construct the facility. Did I hear that right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, that's really good news for I'm sure I would speak for all the freeholders to create that kind of opportunity for good, strong union opportunities in a site to be built there. I think is a terrific news, and it will be very well met by the union partners that we have in our county. So thank you for that. I appreciate that component of it and making it a union site. The other thing I wanted to ask just quickly, if you could go on to it and without belaboring the point, is there any kind of educational component to this? It sure seems ripe for, the future of recycling food waste and turning it into energy. It seems like there'd be a huge opportunity to teach school kids and people interested in the process. And is there any kind of classroom kind of spaces or anything you're thinking about as far as that?
We are. So this site will have more tours going on every day than we probably want, because people will be so interested in what we're doing here. And we are big on deploying and having interns work, typically in the control room. The control room of these facilities is pretty extensive because it is a process. It's an industrial process and a unique one. And so there will be a lot of interactions with the county school systems, with the city, and people really coming from all over the world to see this plant.
Good. That's terrific. It sure seems like a fantastic component for our county to host such a facility in that area, done safely and converting food waste, taking out of the dumps. So I'm encouraged by this. I'm looking forward to it moving forward. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to Freeholder Hudak, who has a few comments, and I'll ask him to move this.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I do appreciate Mr. Potter, Mr. Toft, Director Sullivan being here today. This project's been a long time coming. And I mean, some comments were made about the history of the site. It's hard for me to really respond to those. I think I might have been finishing, college 20 years ago when that project was under consideration. What I can say as a Linden resident is this is just one of the parcels in the Tremley Point area that were left polluted and unutilized over a significant period of time. And it's a very good thing to see that area rejuvenated. And certainly there's some reasonable concerns over traffic because we do want to have a successful facility there. There's been tremendous infrastructure improvements there. And I think one of the things that is highlighted is the continued need for the Tremley Point Connector Road into that industrial portion of Linden, which this board has been a leader on and advocating for funds, and I think that's going to enhance the success of projects like this, but also address some of the safety concerns. And the fun of technology. I just got a text message from a constituent who reminded me of the traffic in that area, and she's correct. And so we have to continue to make sure we're taking the trucks off the road, and that's challenging if we don't get the road connector road done. So this is a good project. I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see the union jobs as well, and I appreciate the support of this board in getting this job done. With that, as the liaison for the Utility Authority, I move ordinance number 815-2020 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chairman. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Garrettson. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrettson,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative for for ordinance 815-2020.
Well, this is good news. It's funny, Freeholder Hudak said he was probably in college or high school, but the Vice Chairman, former Freeholder Sullivan, and I were here 20 years ago, and remember all the commotion in that area, and this looks like a good solution for that piece of land, and I'm glad to see this moving forward. It's good for Linden, it's good for Union County, and I think it's going to be great for the state of New Jersey. So,
Chairman,
by hearing from you, Mr. Potter, Mr. Toffin, under Director Sullivan, this is a really good news.
Yeah, thank you,
Chairman.
very much.
If you
Thank you.
just in terms of process, just so the board knows, as with any other solid waste amendment, it now goes down to the DEP for their approval. They have 150 days to approve this amendment. That shouldn't impact anything that Linden Renewable Energy is doing, but just for the record to know, DEP now has 150 days to approve that. The county will be contacted as well as the UCUA when that amendment, and I'm sure it will be approved, but just for the record to know that they have that much time to approve this amendment.
Excellent. Dan, I'm sure you'll keep us updated, and I'm sure Freeholder Hudak will keep us updated. So
Absolutely.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, gentlemen. You're certainly welcome to stay on the rest of the meeting, but I'm sure you probably have better things to do. Thanks for
Thank you very much.
Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholders.
Excellent.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, we'll move on to our second ordinance, and Mr. Clerk, can you please read that ordinance by title?
Certainly, Chairman. Ordinance number 816-2020, an ordinance to amend the laws of Union County Administrative Code and Policies and General Legislation by amending Part 1, Union County Administrative Code, Article 4, Fees for Recreation Facilities, Section 107-6, Park Fees for the year 2020.
All right, very good. The meeting is now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on ordinance 816-220 being offered for adoption only. Jimmy, why don't you go through the individuals who have signed up to make comment, and we'll go from there.
Okay, we do have 2 individuals remaining in our meeting. I will start with, we have 1 individual remaining on our meeting, and it is Bruce Patterson.
Okay, Mr. Patterson.
I'm just going to bank my time, so thank you very much.
All right, I see you've banked your time. That's terrific. Thank you. I'll close that portion of the meeting, and we'll move on to if there's unless there's any comments from the freeholders.
Chairman, I would just like to state for the record that I did not receive any emails from any constituents with questions pertaining to this specific ordinance.
All right, very good, Jimmy. Thank you. I'll ask Freeholder Granados to move ordinance 816220.
Thank you, Chairman. I move ordinance number 816-2020 for final reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law.
Very good. Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
The Freeholder Kowalski was first for a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
First for a second. Okay. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative on ordinance number 816-2020.
Very good, and thank you, Mr. Clerk. May I have a motion to suspend the rules to allow the joining of both the public comment on resolutions being offered for adoption and the public comment for any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to the residents of the county into one public comment section.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Williams and seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
And Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, that's 9 votes in the affirmative for the suspension of the rules.
Very good. Thank you. The meeting is now open to the public for anyone wishing to speak on any item being offered for adoption or any other matter for that matter. So the meeting is now open. Mr. Clerk, please go through the people who signed up. I believe it's probably only Mr. Patterson.
Chairman, you are correct. At this point, there is one individual, Bruce Patterson, that is participating in our Zoom meeting. Mr. Patterson?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board. Bruce Patterson, Garwood, New Jersey. I previously sent my questions in, but I will read them. Hopefully I have enough time. In Resolution 2020-519, this is a resolution that is a WOW number. It's a 58% increase to the original contract to CME. It's for a Clark Reservoir Concept Planning Study. It's a good idea. I mean, I'm not going to argue that, but it's the whole county master plan study. Original reso was $167,000. Yet adding this one element adds $94,000 for a total of $262,000. No way should this single item cost $94,000. The taxpayers are being ripped off by CME Associates. I think you should vote no and find somebody else after they do their thing. Resolution 2020-531. This is more expenditures on this year's election. It's now topping out, totaling up $4.5 million. This one is an add of $370,000, a 15% increase in Royal Printing, total contract of $2,800,000. This is after the fact, so I have no idea who gave him this go-ahead to spend this money. I'd like to hear that. The Union County elections had so many documented screw-ups with this processing contractor. This is what happens when you funnel money, millions of taxpayers' money, not because he's cost-effective and competitive, but he's just a politically connected vendor. Definitely sounds like he should be investigated for possible criminal actions. I personally actually have a ballot that was sent to Watchung to vote in Union County, and this person hadn't lived or voted here for 40 years. Resolution 545, and that's the true number, by the way. This resolution is a travesty to the taxpayers watching their hard-earned money go into a black hole. Meta Architects is getting an additional $280,000 for a total of $4.8 million for the county courthouse stairwell project, which is now going on 10 years. Nearly $5 million just for architectural drawings and just time just going by. When you hire somebody whose resume is basically donating to freeholder campaigns and not true experience, you do get screw-ups, possibly missed items, wasted money on a learning curve. This is a botch of a job, just like the family courthouse fiasco, which suddenly increased $7 million at the end of the project, all at taxpayers' expense. NETA was involved in that also. It may be time for someone to start documenting NETA's fiascos to see if he's criminally soaking the taxpayers or just plain useless at this work that you give him. But I am sure you get excited when all those $7,000 quid pro quo NETA campaign donation checks are sent to you. Around $70,000 in donations to you and your cronies in 4 years. Resolution 552. CME Associates is getting an astronomical 100% increase to his contract, $20,000 to $45,000 total. We're sitting around for on-call environmental services. But we're sure you look forward to more of those quid pro quo $1,000 to $2,000 checks coming to your campaign coffers. Reso 556, Renaud and Apollonia. They're getting another $15,000, the total $30,000. That should cover those $1,000 to $4,000 quid pro quo freeholder campaign checks to your coffers every year. Resolution 557, Floji Simmons, law firm. He's getting $100,000 total for his lawsuit. You can't be too happy with him, though. He's only giving you $300 quid pro quo checks. Resolution 560, Dakota's Fitzpatrick Law Firm, getting a 37% increase in his contract, adding $30,000 for a total of $50,000 for development projects, and another $20,000 to total $160,000. This is for 2 resos. Last 4 years, looks like their firm sent around $500 to $1,000 quid pro quo campaign checks. So we are sure you are excited about giving them the $210,000 in contracts. And then a general comment. You know, in June, I may have been too harsh on Bruce Bergen and the freeholders, giving $175,000 patronage job to him. He is now your county council, and ongoing we will monitor him as his service to the public. We do say good riddance to Council Barry. All he did was funnel legal work and ignore accountability to assure that outside law firms donated heavily to yours and your cronies' election campaigns, as you see in these resolutions. We hope Council Bergen will bring a fresh view to end this quid pro quo and a firm hand to keep the lawsuit costs to a minimum.
Okay,
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Patterson, thank you for your comments. I'll move to answer 2 of them. One is for the Clark Reservoir, I believe. I don't know if the county manager wants to speak on that, or we want to move to Director Zuber. But if one of you guys could give some thoughts there, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Chairman. Director Zuber, do you want to go or would you like me to go? I think you're on mute.
Director Zuber, you are on mute. You are still on mute. I cannot hear you. Can anyone else hear?
No.
I can go ahead, Chairman. This is a.
You want to take over for Director Zuber? He's having some fundamental difficulty.
Yep, I can help Ron out on this. The initial, I'm sorry, I thought I heard him. The initial contract with CME was for the Union County parks. The reservoir is not a park; it's a substantially large section of land, and this is the addition to that to cover the reservoir.
Yeah, very good. And this actually, when we acquired that from the township, always thought we would do this kind of work to come up with some benefit for the residents of our county. And I know the township of Clark's been kind of working with us very closely to do something in this space. So I think it's in line with what we're being asked to do too.
And CME is going to try to put together a plan for what we could do with the reservoir, how long it's going to take to clean up. Probably have to do it in stages and try to lay out some timeframes and years and cost associated with cleaning up that waterway.
All right, terrific. Thank you very much. No thanks to you, Director Zuber. All right, we're going to the next question for on elections. Certainly Mr. Patterson knows the situation, not only in a presidential year, which brings upon its own challenges, but certainly with the COVID disaster that we've been dealing with and trying to find a process for people could vote. The combination of things certainly created some additional costs for for the county. And I see, thankfully, Joanne is still on the line. I'll turn over to her for any additional comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Patterson, for your question. The one item that was in the resolution was 10,000 additional vote by mail applications, which were charged to the primary. Everything else in that resolution is for the 2020 general election in November. Now, the vote by mail applications were state mandate, state pay under COVID, because we had to send applications per the governor's executive order to 150,000 undeclared voters for the primary. That was a mandate. We had no choice. The additional money that's in there, and as you may know, there are 3 envelopes for every ballot that goes out. There's an outer envelope, there's what is called a certificate envelope, which is the inner envelope, and there is a return envelope. We ordered 1 million envelopes for the primary because it was an all vote by mail election, and it had to cover, it just about covered 350,000 people. Okay, that was first. We don't know what the governor is going to do for the general election. A group of clerks is going to meet with the governor's office on Monday. We are urging him to do a choice, voter's choice. Part of the problem that you noted is absolutely correct. The database, the statewide voter registration database, is not 100%. That is why people that are dead, that is why people that moved out of the county, out of state, or to a different town in the county, they are not taken off the list. It needs to be updated. The best way to update it is to send everyone a vote by mail application, and then we'll get their true address. That's what we're going to be urging the governor to do. I do believe the large majority of voters will opt to vote by mail in November because COVID or the flu will still be with us. So the amount of money, I know it's quite costly. The envelopes are not cheap. The certificate envelope is the costliest of the 3. We're also looking toward legislation in the future to make the vote by mail process easier. The legislation was not drafted for an all vote by mail election. It was meant for an occasional vote by mail ballot. So it doesn't speak to ease of access for people to use. So in the future, we suspect that more and more people will be voting by mail. So we want the statute to be clearer on that issue. I hope that answers your questions. Happy to answer anything else you may have.
No, that's very good, Joanne. I appreciate that, and all your staff and all your hard work, together with the Board of Election and Administrator Dorado. Between the two of you, such terrific teamwork to pull off what I considered a Herculean effort with this primary now leading into the general election. You know, there are people going to criticize one way or another. It's inevitable, but overwhelmingly, you both have serviced the public, allowed them the right to vote. They took advantage of it, and I expect that will be the same in the general election. So great job for you. I hope you'll share. I'm sure my colleagues agree. Share our thanks to your staff who worked around the clock to solicit the votes, to get them in, and to count them up properly. So really, really terrific.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yep. I will share that.
Yep, thank you. I hope you will. All right. At this point, I will close the public portion of the meeting. I will ask for a motion to approve resolutions 492 through 572, 2020.
So moved.
I'll ask.
Second.
Thank you. Yes, Freeholder Granados moved it, and Freeholder Hudak seconded it. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chairman, I'm just clarifying, this is for resolution numbers 2020-492 through 2020-572. Is that?
Yeah, I think that's what I have here. Is that right?
That is what I have as well. Yes, I just wanted to clarify.
Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski,
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada,
Yes.
and Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative on all resolutions.
All right, very good. We're going to go into freeholder reports and comments, and then we have a need to go into an executive session. So we'll do our comments first, go into an executive session, and then we'll finish our meeting. So let me go across the top, at least in the order that I have it, and start with Freeholder Kowalski.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to express my condolences to all the people who have lost loved ones in this COVID crisis, and thank the Union County community for the efforts to feed people, to take care of people, to test people, and thank everyone for following the regulations and using masks and social distancing. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Kowalski. Freeholder Williams.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to, I echo Freeholder Kowalski's thoughts, and I would like to just thank all the volunteers who came out to Kane University this morning, along with county staff, to help with the food distribution. It was a wonderful thing to see, and it looked like it went very, very smoothly. So I want to thank everybody, my colleagues who also helped out as well. Thank you. That's all my comments, Chairman. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Freeholder Williams. Freeholder Muedad.
Thank you, Chair. I echo my colleagues, and I also want to just recognize all of the county residents who ran in this year's primary election, and congratulate our winners. I know it's not easy to put your name on a ballot, and this certainly wasn't the election that anyone expected, I'm sure. So I want to just recognize everyone that did put the effort out there. And then to echo the chairman's praise for our county clerk and our board of elections, I don't even know how to begin to thank you for the hard work that you put into this election. It could not have been easy. I thought the drop boxes were a major asset to our county. I thought that was a great thing to have, and I hope that that continues because I do foresee many people, including myself, will probably continue to vote by mail in upcoming elections. So I thank you for all of that effort. And with that, I will close. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Freeholder Muedad. Freeholder Granados.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll echo the comments by everyone who's spoken before, and just also thank our county administration and our county employees and volunteers who continue to work tirelessly during COVID, and not only during our COVID testing location, but also to these food drives and making sure that every aspect of needs of our residents are being met. And so I thank our county manager and every single person who's been on deck and making sure everything goes to fruition when it comes to programs that benefit our residents. And once again, I want to congratulate all the high school graduates, elementary, middle school graduates who graduated, and some of them had ceremonies. So congratulate them on that. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder Granados. Freeholder Garrettson.
Thank you, Chairman. I just want to acknowledge and recognize our governor for seeing it not to be a moment in this time that we tackle an issue with his state leaders, our Senate president and our Assembly Speaker. They came together in Hillside, thanks to you, Chairman. You set me on the journey, and we came back with something that we all really strongly believe in. So I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you as well. But also all of the strong leaders all around the state who've been stepping up, our freeholder colleagues in so many counties, but most importantly, each and every one of our freeholders have expressed their support of this, not just personally to me, but just in their efforts throughout the year. So I just want to recognize that and just do 2 quick updates. On July 16th, the Senate approved the bill and it came out of committee. On July 20th, it came out of the Assembly Committee, and it is going forward to a full vote on the 30th. So I hope that we can all join and be able to support and celebrate moving this term that is confusing, but also, as you eloquently said earlier, so I won't repeat the good words you said, but just again want to acknowledge that our county has been 1,000% in support of this effort. So I'm very pleased to be a member of this Freeholder Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Garrettson. Thanks for your efforts in that space. Nice work. Freeholder Staten.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'll be brief. First, I would like to extend my deepest condolences to our Roselle Councilwoman, Cynthia Johnson, on the loss of her son, Tyquan McAllister. Tyquan will be sadly missed. He was a gem in our Roselle community. Second, I would like to thank Freeholder Angela Garrison on her leadership in leading the charge to change the name to Freeholder. It's been a long time coming, and I know they've been trying to get it done for a couple of years. So this was really good to hear that it's finally happening. I'm glad to be a part of it. I too would like to echo off my colleagues to thank Director Anderson and our county managers and Director Moran on a very, very successful food distribution today. Everything went smoothly and the people were very, very thankful for the fresh produce and everything that they received. I just have one request for our chairman, that Freeholder Granadas cannot work on the bagging side. Yeah, but everything went really, really well.
That was a catchy.
And lastly, I'd like to congratulate all of our graduates and the students who are leaving to go away to college. I wish them well and continue to be safe, to everyone. And also to our parents who are struggling with the decision to send their children to school, to not send them to school. I'm struggling myself. So we all just have to stick together and keep practicing social distancing and keep our children as safe as possible. Thank you for joining us this evening. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Very, very well put. Freeholder Hudak.
Thank you, Chairman. Just to echo some of my colleagues' comments regarding the election in regard to the last speaker, I too want to commend the county clerk and the Board of Elections. This was truly an unprecedented primary. And I know Joanne will remind us that she is still counting up to 90,000 ballots already, which does go to show when we make it easier for Union County residents to vote, more will participate. And I hope, other states in the region and other, leaders maybe at a national level realize that voting by mail is a good thing because it allows more people access to the process. So that's a very good thing. I wish everyone good health, and because we are in a troubling time with the expansion of COVID in the southern states. And I just urge all Union County residents to do their part, to stay the course. I know everyone's getting out there a little bit more, maybe getting that haircut, maybe going out for that lunch. But if we can all just continue to do our part, we want to get the kids to school at some point, but we want them to be safe more than anything else. So please, Union County residents, we've been doing a really good job. Let's keep it up. Thank you, Chairman.
Very good, Freeholder Hudak. Thank you. We'll move to the Vice Chairman, Vice Chairman Estrada.
Thank you, Al, very much. First of all, I want to congratulate the winners of the primaries. More specifically are my own colleagues who ran this year, but even also the Elizabeth contingency with the mayor heading the ticket, Mayor Bolwich, as well as the councilman at large with Pat Perkins, Frank Cuesta, and Manny Grova, who were victorious. And I know that this is only a primary, but in Elizabeth, that pretty much tells you what the landscape is. It is important to have people who move forward and go out and, like was said earlier, make sure that their names go up in the ballots, and this is part of the democratic system that we live in. I want to also congratulate my colleague Angela Garrettson. I don't know. I think Angela was the deciding factor in making it happen. At least I read it in the New York Times. Where else can you really have? I think this is something that we have talked about for a long time in terms of what does the actual name represent. I had other colleagues who reached out to me from different parts of the state looking for alternates. I said, listen, this is very simple. Freeholders have issues. The name itself has tremendous amount of issue because if you're not a free man and a holder of land, you couldn't be in that position. So that automatically takes out, I would say 2/3, if not more, of the population. So I'm happy to see that changes will come through. I'm sure we can all be county commissioner without any major problems. It doesn't indicate that that we're at the same level as other commissioners, as the parking authority commissioner or anything else. I think we all serve a purpose and we know what that is, and to represent the people well. In terms of New Jerseyans in general, it is because of the work that New Jerseyans have done is where we find ourselves in terms of this COVID-19. We should be extremely proud that overall, in terms of our performance nationally, we're probably #1 state in terms of being able to keep the COVID-19 at bay. But this is not, this battle could be lost if we do the wrong things. So let's be clear. There's still nothing out there that will mitigate this disease. The vaccine is not here. Maybe it will be closer, but until that day comes, and even when the day comes, it'll take over a year to vaccinate everybody in this country and the world. So let's keep the flow as it's going. Make sure that we use our mask. Make sure that we safe distancing, and it is up to all of us to ensure that we live in a safe environment. I want to thank my colleagues. Wish you the best. Move forward. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Vice Chairman Estrada. I just have a couple of things, and then we'll go into our executive session. I really want to thank the Parks Department, Director Zuber, and under the county manager and deputy county manager's leadership for trying to find creative ways to have some events. And the drive-in movies, I think, were terrific. Some of the other things we have planned, we're trying to find a way to navigate safely, some entertainment, some family entertainment, and I really give them a lot of credit for trying to find some creative ways. I also want to join my colleagues in congratulating the primary winners, particularly Sheriff Corvelli, Freeholder Hudak, and Freeholder Garrettson, and soon to be Freeholder Leon. I'm looking forward to much success in November as well. I had the chance, freeholders, to give comments via video on behalf of this board to the graduates of the Union County Vocational Schools, the Simon Youth Academy, and the Lesniak Recovery High School. And, it was hard, and I know some of us, I know Freeholder Granados made the Simon graduation. We all tried to, get to where we could be. Nothing like being in person, but where our presence was there, and we appreciate all our graduates, high school and college alike. And just to sum up and add one additional comment, it's really my great honor to make this following announcement. And the freeholders don't know what this is, and I don't even think the county manager knows this, but I did hear directly today from the executive director of NJAC, John Donadio, who many of us know, who gave me the good news that Freeholder Estrada will be entered into the Freeholder Hall of Fame in 2020. So I wanted to congratulate Freeholder Estrada publicly. Great for you. We've been colleagues and great friends for decades, and it's great to make this announcement. We'll find an appropriate way to celebrate this amongst our colleagues and have John maybe join us when we can get together safely. But, Freeholder, you deserve this honor. You should have gotten it actually last year. and for some accounting reason, you were left off the list. But I'm glad you certainly got it this year, and I wish you only the best, and congratulations to you. Well-deserved honor, Freeholder. All right, so great for Hall of Famer Estrada. We're going to go now into our executive session and our county council to make a statement relative to tonight's executive session.
Pursuant to provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, a public body may enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing the litigation matter of Kevin Joy versus County of Union. The minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be available in approximately 30 days. The clerk of the board shall retain the original minutes until such time as the confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they shall be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire to executive session. Upon the board's return, it may or may not take formal action on the matters discussed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, County Council. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Hudak, seconded by Freeholder Kowalski. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Certainly, Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson. Freeholder Granados.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Kowalski.
Yes.
Freeholder Palmieri Muedad.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Estrada.
Yes.
Chairman Mirabella.
Aye.
Chairman, you have 8 votes in the affirmative to attend.
Did you get Angela Garrison? Sorry.
My apologies. Yes, Freeholder Garrettson.
Yes.
We're doing a motion to enter into executive session.
Yes.
Okay. Chairman, you have 9 votes in the affirmative to enter executive session.
All right, very good. So there's another call-in number of freeholders for that. I hope you all have that to click on. Jimmy, what's going to be the wrap-up of this afterwards? Are we going back into this original meeting to close, or we're just going to close from there since there's no other action to be done?
Correct, Chairman. We're going to go into the next meeting, and we're going to close out of that next meeting. This meeting will, when we leave the meeting, the Zoom meeting, it will close. When we return from executive session,